We're at City Hall today in San Francisco with Save America's Children. Our goal today is to focus on what is happening to the young generation, mainly those that have lost their lives, the generations that we're losing due to untimely deaths of our youth. We're expecting a number of speakers today who will give their message on how they think we can do what we can do rather to save America's children, be it through education or valuable programs that are available. The Save America's Children is founded by a young man named David Dews Jr., who is, a matter of fact, is incarcerated in Soledad prison. And he has come up with this dynamic idea on what we can do to save America's children. So we will be including in today's presentation mothers and fathers, family members who are grieving the loss of their children, and we want to be able to turn this around. And our main focus piece today is the artwork drawn by David Dews, and it is called Grieve. And it tells the story of how many young people that have lost their lives in cities across the United States in 2012. The count in Chicago was 500. Sandy Hook, where we lost 20 babies along with 6 adults. Los Angeles, 517. Oakland, 130. And in Salinas, the projected murder rate was 673. And in San Francisco, our city, I had no record that we could find as to how many that we have lost, but there is a great number of young people that we've lost through untimely deaths, through no fault of their own. I was invited to go find a poster of 51 young people who were killed in the Bayview. I went to 2 different locations and couldn't find that poster. And so that is our main focus today with Save America's Children. Our website is www.sac-mol.com, and you can go to our website and just see some of the programs that we have in place to save America's children. And so Save America's Children press conference today is solely to focus on what we can do, one person at a time, to save these children and help them to be better people, and just to make them know that it's more to life than just being in crime. But being in crime cuts your life short. Being in life helps you live longer. So we want to change their mindset and show them about the good. So now you teach at San Francisco? University of San Francisco.
American International. Oh, I teach social justice.
Well, I'm gonna be doing a TV call-in show, and I'm gonna have you on as one of my panelists on Buzzing Around with Dr. Shelton. Okay, count on it. Okay, I'm here talking to Carl Williams. I wanted to know from you, after we just celebrated 50 years of the March on Washington and the big civil rights movement, what do you think is happening with our young people, and do you see a way out that we can do to change, what we can do to change the mindset to save America's children?
Yeah. Well, I attended the 50th anniversary celebration of the March on Washington, and I think it's a kind of a bittersweet moment to be here now, because the dream that Martin Luther King had was that our children and our young people would be able to survive and succeed in an environment free of racism. But what we are witnessing now is our young people, sadly, unfortunately, turning on each other, killing each other through violence. That is not what he had in mind. That was not what the dream was about.
I'm speaking with David Johnson, who is one of San Francisco's #1 photographer.
I was an active photographer in the 50s. So my subject was my community.
my people, everyday people, the politics, the churches, the children, and important events that took place in the richly Fillmore district. So this place that we stand right now were places that I took photographs of young black kids from Third Baptist Church singing songs. So in my photograph, I took a number of photographs of these kids, and I call that my Lift Every Voice and Sing pages in my book. A guy can give $10 million for shooting the ball to the hoop. Where's that money going? It's not going back in the community. It's not being put in a fund to educate youth. It's a serious issue that we face now. If the family is broken, the offsprings are equally broken.
In the ghetto, in the hoods of America, we've been screaming out for a long time. Nobody's heard our voice or paid any attention. I pay taxes like everybody else. It's wrong. It's wrong. This country is wrong, and it needs to take a good look at it. The board of supervisors and the mayor. It's a shame. It's a shame and an outcry that we're losing so many lives here in San Francisco and in Oakland and Richmond. Unnecessary lives when we had the supposed to be bragging about the greatest educational opportunity in California. That's a joke. We're building more prisons than we are educational institutions. All the money is going into the death penalty. All that money sitting on death row. I urge you to write your Congress and your senators to get that money off of death row and put it in these communities where our babies need support and victims need support. We have to help. They cut our victim services fund from $7,000 to $5,000. Do you know that just pays for the funeral service alone? That doesn't pay for that mother off work for the next 2 weeks. That doesn't pay the rent. That doesn't pay for clothing. We have to find clothing for families when this happens. We have to do the repairs for these families. We have to go clean up their houses. Where's the funding for that? Where's the, we volunteer and do our own thing to help our people, but where's the funding for that? You know, this is a disgrace. San Francisco needs to be ashamed of itself, and this country needs to be ashamed of itself for so many lives being lost. So many lives, just with Chicago and Baltimore and Philadelphia and San Francisco and Oakland. That's over 2,000 lives. 2,000 lives just with those 4 little cities. That little baby shouldn't have had to die in Oakland in his dad's arm while he's sleeping. And that little girl shouldn't have had to die because somebody came along with a semi-automatic and sprayed the house, and an 8-year-old died who was spending the night at a friend's house. It's time for us to get these damn guns off the street. It's time for us to go to Sacramento. It's time for us to unite because you can beat that. Bullets have no name. No matter where you go, in my community, this community, no matter where you go, we are not safe. And people better get the message. It's time for us to each one, teach one, and reach one.
Thank you for this wealth of information to bring light on what we're hoping to do in saving America's children. And it may be coming to your neighborhood next. It's been to my neighborhood. My grandson standing here, he and his sister standing in the garage and somebody shot at them. And my grandson wore one of them things in his mouth called a grieve. And I used to say, Donald, take that out of your mouth. But little did I know as a grandmother that down the line the doctor would say that the only thing that saved your grandson's life when he was shot in the mouth, that bullet hit the grill and bounced out the side of his jaw. So I don't say don't wear the grill no more. I ain't up against that anymore because it saved his life. And so we're thankful for that. But as I said, he wasn't doing anything in his garage, just working on his little car, and sisters standing there, sitting there, and it happened. We all look alike, they say. So it can be mistaken identity, a mistake, I shot you, or you're wounded, or you dead. So save America's children, we can do that. Go to our website, www.sac-mol.com. Save America's children, moving in love, and we're going to do that, save the children, by spreading love across this United States of America. And I appreciate Maddie and Antoinette for Paulette. Oh,
also-
Antoinette, I've been.
And I also wanted to say too that, you know, we're having, if anyone wants to come, so we have a support group that happens every second and fourth Thursday of the month. And it's at Paradise Baptist Church. Tonight it will start at 7 o'clock. Every second and fourth Thursday of the month. We have families and mothers and fathers who come and share their stories about their grief. Because when the funeral is over, no one's there, they're left alone at home to self-medicate and no support, nowhere to go. So we have this twice a month, and we invite everyone. If you want to bring someone with you, bring someone with you. This is tonight at Paradise 2595 San Jose Avenue, Paradise Baptist Church. Every second and fourth Thursday. The This is Carlotta Jackson's Lane. Municipal foster family agency. Keisha is not here. Sister Keisha is not here. We're a collaborative partnership that just opened an office at 1099 Sunnydale. We have some wonderful services to provide for you on a daily basis. Anybody that's struggling with any type of mental illness or pain and loss or grief, Coletta does a grief support group. We're doing some cooking classes and some other things. We're going to have our grand opening of the Dream Center at Baby Hunters Point. We have a multitude of things that are happening. You can reach us on Facebook. I have my business card. I'll give that to y'all. Coletta Jackson Lane from Sojourner Truth Foster Family Agency. Anybody you know that's hurting, we work with guys that's coming out of prison. Those are in jail. We are right now at San Quentin Prison at San Bruno County Jail, working with Felicia Jones and others. Also with Delia, with Result to Stop the Violence Project. We're also at 850 Bryant with the women over there in the jail, those mothers that are coming out for reentry services to help them get back on their feet, because most of them have been victimized or victims themselves of violence. This whole picture, we're here to heal the whole family. That's why Healing for Our Nation, for our families in our nation, is on a journey across this nation with Mothers in Charge and other groups around the country to bring awareness of where our dollars need to be spent and our focus needs to be. And that's education, schools, re-entry services, the juvenile justice system, and working with law enforcement and building that relationship so that young people do not be afraid of the police, but at the same time, that the police officers don't perpetrate, okay, but stop it.
1099 Sunnydale. Our services have been expanded to do mental health services for these families. I also do grief and loss counseling, as well as we have a chronic pain group that meets every Wednesday at 1099 Sunnydale. This chronic pain group will also offer you a chance to get free acupuncture services, as well as deal with the chronic pain that a lot of us feel, both from depression and also physical ailments. I would also like to take this opportunity to let you know that one of the reasons why myself and Maddie came together is that it was an opportunity to give actual therapy to the families who were going through the grief and loss. And I would also like to let you know that the program that we do is a peer approach. So it gives the parents a chance to be with other parents who have lost their children. And at the same time, the strength of it is helping the survivors. Because for every child that is killed, there are other members of the family that are surviving. There are siblings that are surviving who need to have someone they can talk to. So by having the children from 0 to 9 in one group, and then from 9 to 14, and then the teen group, they get a chance to actually be with other children who are going through the same thing. And it's a very powerful way. They get a chance to grieve, and then they don't have to feel that they're making their parents sad by, being in pain. And at the same time, the parents need these services so that they can actually be able to know how to relate to the grieving that they're going through with their children, and to help them. And the last thing I wanted to say is that there is a large number of families right now that are in foster care, the children that are in foster care, both parents are incarcerated, the mother and the father. And the reality is that that's why we go into the jails. And the opportunity is that we want to make sure that they get a chance to interact with their children while they're incarcerated, and to also empower them on the way out of the system so that they can actually do what they need to do for the court in order to help get their children back. We don't guarantee that they will get their children back, but what we do is we help them advocate